Hey, everybody. Pastor Kirk with another weekly update for Living Stones Church here with Pastor Josh. And we are here to talk about a few things this week briefly, just to make sure that we're communicating and leading things moving forward so that everybody's aware as a family. We're in our second week of public church life after our launch. So we've done our mission statement on our first Sunday, and then we did our first value, outsiders becoming insiders, last week. And then you're up for a couple of weeks of preaching. Super excited about that. Disciples making disciples and
unity and diversity.
There we go. Yeah, good. So we just want to do a brief update today. And one of the big things that's been happening is this kickoff and reformation a little bit of our gospel community. So how did that go? We had it last night. Tell everybody how it went and where we're going with gospel communities.
Yeah, well, if you were there, I hope you enjoyed it.
I did.
We had a great turnout. It was a great evening. We spent some time singing some songs in worship, a little bit of time of prayer. We had some teaching where I talked about the why of gospel community, just trying to remind everyone why it is that we do gospel communities. Not all of the reasons why we do gospel communities, but three core reasons. And then you took some time to talk about how gospel communities connect to mission. And then we spent about 40 minutes breaking up into smaller groups, some groups larger than others, based on our neighborhood, the neighborhood that we live in here in Boise. And so the purpose of that was really just to make connections for people to get to know who they live near within the church. Obviously, we're a church that was a result of a merger, and we're still trying to integrate and get people to know each other and things like that. And we've also had a bunch of new people joining the church too who aren't quite connected yet. And so this was an opportunity to do that. But what that also did was it sets us up to be able to start some new gospel communities here in the future. So right now we've got, I think, 13 or 14 gospel communities. Wow. And our plan is to grow that to about 15 or 16. So we've identified some places around town where we need a gospel community, and so we're just kind of calling on leaders and calling on people. And I actually already got a few texts this morning from people responding from last night saying, hey, we know we need a GC in this area, we'd love to help lead or co-lead. So I feel like there's some good momentum building there. And then obviously a lot of our gospel communities, for them, not much is going to change. They've been meeting for a while based on location, and so just ask that they'd continue to be faithful to gather together week in and week out.
So that's great. And so I think there's a lot of questions still out there. So maybe next week you'll do like a more in-depth update on what's going on.
I might be doing a solo, my first podcast video by myself. So next week we'll do a little bit of a longer gospel communities update that will get sent out to everybody as well. So,
okay, well. Again, get involved in the gospel community. That's our vision. That's our desire, because we believe in the church being the church together. The gathering on Sunday, super important, but so is that. So we're going to run through a couple things real quick in a few minutes, just to give you guys an update. Reminders, first of all, Open Streets Boise. We value, as a church, being in our city for the city. And so please come out to that. That is after the gathering on September 28th from 12 to 5. In the bulletin this week, or hopefully online as well, we will have a place. They are asking for some volunteers, and so the major thing we want people to do is just get out there and be building relationships. But if you would like to serve, being a servant also buys you a little bit of a relational credit, I think, a lot of times.
Absolutely.
And is a good thing to do. So that's there. And then we have a church family meeting on October 5th, right after our gathering. Again, would love for you to put that in your schedule. What are we doing again for that, Josh? We're not doing a full meal. Maybe tell people.
So sometimes church family meetings, there's a full meal, potluck, that sort of thing. We're trying to keep this a little bit tighter time-wise, and so after the gathering, we'll transition pretty quickly. We'll be in the auditorium. There'll be some light snacks and refreshments just to hold people over till lunch. But really, this is going to be a time for the elders just to share some updates, things about staff and elders, deacons, and we're asking that you would submit questions beforehand. We have a link, a QR code, of course, right? Always a QR code where that links to a form, and you can fill out a form and ask questions. Obviously, you can ask the elders questions anytime. After church on Sunday, sit down with us for coffee one morning. We want to be as open, transparent, and talking about what's going on in the life of our church as possible. But these questions will kind of help to set the agenda for what we want to talk about. We've obviously got things that we want to bring, but we also want to hear from our church. If one of the questions that's submitted we don't feel like quite fits with the agenda, we will still respond to that question by email for sure. So,
yeah, I think it wasn't planned, but I think just real quick to mention that I did talk to somebody the other day, and I think in the midst of this, for New City and Cole people merger, for newer people, they're just trying to get connected.
Yeah.
But I did talk to somebody the other day, and it's like they felt a little bit of distance between themselves and the pastors from their side of the merger. And I just want to encourage you to actually go and after church every Sunday we have this ministry of presence where we take time to pray as pastors and elders with people.
Very powerful.
And even if you don't need prayer, but you just want to connect with Josh or me or Mitch or Heath or one of the Jims or
Josh
and Mike right now. So please just make that effort is what I would say, because that is we don't want people feeling disconnected. And if you're used to talking to your pastors more, talk to them. We're not hiding, right?
Absolutely.
So we love you guys. Yeah.
We share and see each other's Google calendars, and so like if you were to go on there every week, we're meeting with people from the church, responding to pastoral needs and things like that too. So we're being proactive, but we'd also ask that you would as well. We'd love to meet with you, and it's so please reach out.
And another thing with that, we're doing something called a family dinner, and that is if you're new to the church, or I would say new to this new church in some way, and you feel like it would be helpful for you to gather. We'll gather at my house. We'll have some food together. We're going to limit this to 30 people at a time. And there is a QR code, and you schedule. If you sign up for it, then just know, if it's more than 30, it'll get pushed to the next one we do probably in January. This one's in October. And so I do want to encourage people, especially if you're new, like that, but for everybody, if you want to connect, we want to make those opportunities available. And then, so and we won't require all of our elders to be there, but any that can, will be there. So, so a couple other things maybe you could talk about real quick, Josh. We are starting in November, planning to start our year-long elder training cohort and our 6-month-long leadership pipeline, which is for deacons and gospel community leaders. And so just 30 seconds, 1 minute, whatever, tell us why that's important, and giving people encouragement of why, even if they're not thinking there'll be an elder or deacon, why they could sign up.
Okay, so let's start. We can start with the eldership one. Obviously, we want to be raising up elders from within our body to serve the church, and so this eldership cohort, I think it's 12 to 14 months, somewhere in there, is going to be a time where we're going to gather together, get to know each other relationally, dig into each other's lives, study the scriptures together, read theology, and work through our church's confession of faith, so that way we have a pool of men to draw from who can serve as elders. But I would also say, if you're in a place where you're unsure about that, or maybe you're just looking for an opportunity to grow in deeper relationship with some men in the church, learn some theology, this is a good opportunity to do that as well. Your soul, your life will benefit from walking through this, even if you don't want to be an elder, or maybe you're on the fence about that. Going through this would still be a really good thing. And the other one would be more of our leadership pipeline. Again, you said deacons, gospel community leaders, and just anyone who generally wants to learn and grow as a leader. So actually some of our staff is going to be going through it as well, which is really cool. And so that really is, that's open to everybody who wants to be a leader in some capacity. And it may not even, again, be right now that you'd be a leader, but maybe this is something you do now, and then in a year from now you get plugged into leading a gospel community. So it'll be a good time in relationship with one another, studying the scriptures, and doing some reading in community. So.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the expectations, everything you can expect with that coming up. But just one of my friends in the UK, he kind of changed my paradigm years ago on this, and he said, you train everybody in the church, and then the ones that are called to be leaders will become apparent. And I think, but everyone benefits in that. Yeah. Everyone grows.
And really, this is how, as pastors, so Ephesians 4:11 says that the pastors were given to the church to equip the saints for the work of ministry. This is one of the ways that we do that. Just encourage people to take a look at that and consider joining us for it.
Okay, last two things. We got to go because we're on a time crunch here. But so first thing I want to mention, we had some questions from people. We teach exegetically as the church. In other words, we teach through books of the Bible generally. Mm-hmm. And even right now in our values series, we are teaching passages of Scripture. So I did Acts 11, 1 through 18 this past Sunday, and we did it in a expositional, exegetical manner, but it is somewhat topical right now as well. So that's okay. I just want to calm anyone's fears and say that we are going to teach through books of the Bible. We're going to teach through the book of Ruth next. Mm-hmm. That's going to be exciting. And then we're going to go through the genealogy of Matthew for Advent. And then afterwards, in the beginning of the year, we're going to look at teaching the book of Jonah. So all of those are amazing things that we'll get to dive into.
Yeah.
And
generally, like probably once a year, we're going to pause and look a little bit more topically at some different things going on in the life of our church that we want to talk about. But again, as to your point, like we will always be teaching through passages of Scripture to show these realities. So.
That's right, because it's God's word. So we want to focus on that. So last thing, and that is, I've had some questions about what are we doing with men in the church? We have all these women's Bible studies. What's going on with the men? So there's a QR code in the bulletin this week. I want to encourage all the men to join the men's group on our Church Center app, and then you'll get updates. But also just to mention that starting next Friday, we're going to have a 6-week mini discipleship time for men for 6 weeks at Cafina on State Street, 6:30 in the morning, early. But we'll spend some time connecting and then go through the book of Titus together. So I want to encourage guys, if you're new to the church or guys coming from our blended family, get to know people by coming out. It's worth the sacrifice for an hour or so in the morning, 6:30 to 7:30 on a Friday morning. If you can swing it, if you can get to work a little bit later or get up earlier for your study before work time. Yeah. Again, we don't want to necessarily be a programmatic church, but I personally just sensed and asked the elders if it was okay, sensed the need to do something. And we are also putting together a men's team right now. I talked with a guy last night who was excited to be a part of that. And so if you'd like to help be a part of a team, we want some younger guys to help shape where we're going and how we're serving our men in the church. So just wanted to mention that. Yeah,
and I think just to bounce off that, we're trying to plan for one men's connecting point every month. And could be going out to dinner somewhere. It could be all gathering at the church for an activity or going to somebody's house, whatever. Yeah. It'll be some sort of connecting point. And then, to your point about not wanting to be a programmatic church, discipleship in community, that's not a program. That's Amen. Just what Jesus did. And he studied the Scriptures together. So to calm anybody's fears, like gathering at a coffee shop and studying the Bible together and getting into each other's lives.
Not a program.
Not a program.
That's good.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, with that, other than I'll say at the end here that the last thing that I would want to say is that we know our country is in a time where the last few weeks have been crazy. Mm-hmm. We did a section in our video last time about that, but we've been processing that, and we're trying to find time where we can talk with guys about that. So if you have questions about what we're thinking, how we can help you as you process this through, we tried to find a night where we could do a kind of a gathering like that, but it hasn't worked out. So maybe there'll be something happening, but if not, talk one-on-one with people and hear what
we just I've had several guys in the church reach out to me and just ask about, hey, what are your thoughts on these things? What can I listen to, and how can I process through? And in the meanwhile, I'm processing through too what's been going on and growing in my understanding of kind of what's been going on in our country and how to think through some of these things.
Yeah. So and to be clear, we're talking about Charlie Kirk's assassination, the school shootings and the violent stabbing,
the political moment that we're in right now. There's a lot of different things going on that are affecting men and women in our church. And so what we want to do is encourage everyone to be talking about those things. Don't isolate yourself. Reach out to us. We'd love to talk. And as you said, we are trying to find a time where we can gather a small group of people together who want to process these things in community together, just to have a conversation about that. So
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for this week. Living Stones Church. Very thankful that we get to pastor along with the other pastors in this church family. And so if there's anything that you want to reach out to us about, please do. Until then, we'll see you on Sunday. And God bless you guys.